Hello there, I'm Alex Clear and I'm joined by Matt Twist, the Marketing Manager for Crown Bev Can Europe and Middle East. Matt, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
Can you just explain to us some of the things you're exhibiting on stand here at BrauBeviale?
Yeah, Brau is always a very interesting environment. We tend to use it as a staging post to actually bring innovation to market. So here, this year at Brau, we've been concentrating on further extending our range of decorative finishes under the Colourful World range. We've actually introduced 6 additional finishes in addition to the 8 that we launched last year.
And talk us through a few of the finishes that you've got on stand here.
Okay, so some of the ones that we launched last year were some more maybe conservative ones, so a matte finish, for example. But now we've taken that to the next level and actually introduced a matte tactile finish. So it's combining 2 different decorative finishes together to give a tactility, but also a visual matte effect.
And with the rise of things like craft beer and craft soda, obviously it's important for brands to stand out, but equally important for them to attract and engage consumers as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. Particularly in the craft market, where they may employ standard cans, so maybe 33 or 50 cl standard cans, due to availability in terms of can sizes and also their filling equipment. So they really rely on having differentiation on the can. And one of the big benefits of metal beverage cans is the 360-degree area that you can actually brand the can. Much greater surface area than any other packaging substrate. And of course, one of the big benefits is it's a sustainable solution. It's recyclable again and again with no loss in quality. And as soon as you actually recycle a beverage can, it could become another beverage can within 60 days. But moving back to the craft question, that visuality and differentiation that they can employ on the shelf really helps them to stand out.
And colour is vitally important in that end as well. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I mean, the colour palette that's available when we're actually decorating onto beverage cans is very wide. But you have to remember that when we're producing beverage cans, that can be up to 3,000 cans every minute on the production line. So it's a very fast industrial process, but the level of detail and the quality of the print and the colours that you can achieve is quite incredible.
And when we talk about visual effects, taking that to the extreme perhaps, is things like photochromic and thermochromic printing. How far have you come in the past 12 months, say, with that?
Good question. Last year we were talking about thermochromic inks and photochromic inks separately. This year we've launched React inks, which is actually a combination effect. So with React inks, depending on where the product is being consumed or where it is actually being stored, the inks will provide a different effect. So for example, you would expect a can that's in an ambient temperature to have very little interaction from a visual perspective. As soon as you chill that can down, you will see a different shape, a different visuality, and if you take that can outside, it will change again. So depending on whether your can is half full, because you've drunk maybe half of the can, you'll get a different effect at the top of the can versus the bottom, a different effect whether you're inside or outside. And that really brings that can to the consumer directly and allows the brand to interact with the consumer at the point of consumption. So here we can see the photochromic can. So with a normal ambient environment and actually inside, the effect is a standard print. But if you take the can outside, then you will actually see an effect which will come. It doesn't need to be sunlight, it could also be just a normal light environment. So here's my portable sun, because we're actually inside at the moment, and as we move over the can, you can see that the colour comes out. So thermochromic technology is effectively an ink which reacts to temperature. So at an ambient temperature, the ink will be clear, but as you chill the can down to a temperature of below 8 or below 6 degrees, i.e. a fridge environment, the can will colour up and you will actually see an image appear. So I'm just going to put a chill spray onto this just to show the effect. So you can see that the flamingos have now turned pink. So this is really very interesting from a brand perspective, as it allows the brand to actually interact with the consumer at the point of consumption. And as you drink the beverage, this area will become empty, the bottom part will still be cold, so you'll actually see the effect disappear and colour back to clear at the top of the can, whilst the base of the can is actually still coloured. So it's quite an interactive product in the hand of the consumer. So here at BrauBeviale 2018, this is one of our new products that we've just released, React Inks, which is a crown development utilising interactive inks to enable differentiation at the point of consumption, to allow brands and consumers to interact. So here it looks a relatively flat design, little colour within the chameleon, but if I then chill the can down, so I'll use a chill spray here just to mimic a fridge environment, you can actually see that the chameleon starts to change colour. So that would be a can which was effectively chilled within a fridge and the consumer could then take it out. But if you then take that can outside, then you have a photochromic reaction which also comes into play. So I'm just going to mimic that with this torch here. But you can now see a coloured reaction. So you've got this top part of the can is as you would see it within a chilled environment indoors. You take it outside, it will then colour up and change colour. So there's actually 4 different colours within this can. There's the ambient flat when it's at ambient temperature and inside. If you then take it outside, even if it's ambient, it will colour up to give you this shape and colour here. But then if you then chill and take it outside, you'll get a different interaction. And what's really, really cool about this can is if you put your fingers over it whilst you're consuming it and you take your fingers off, you'll actually end up with a fingerprint. So there's real interactivity directly from the consumer of the can to the brand owner.
Talking about the past 12 months where you've come, and indeed about consumer interaction, we have Crown Connect, don't we?
Yes,
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so this time last year we were talking about Crown Connect being an innovation. We're very happy to announce here at Brau that's now in the marketplace. It was launched during the course of the year in the UK market with Fact, which is a flavoured water brand. And that has been hugely successful and received a huge amount of interest within not just the packaging media but the media in general, to have a can that has an individual code which allows the brand to interact directly with the consumer at the point of consumption. And we're very happy that it's won numerous awards within the industry.
And how is Pact using Crown Connect?
How are they using it? They're using it really from an interactivity point of view, but it's really about provenance. So what they wanted to do was to be able to inform the consumer where the lemon zest came from that is actually flavouring the water. So it's all the way down to the farm that's actually growing the lemons in Sicily. It's about where we produce our cans. It's about where we produce the ends that go on top of the cans. It's around where the water's come from. It allows the consumer to have a very direct interaction with that particular brand at that point in time. There's also the Sustainability Act. At the end of consumption, what should the consumer do? And they're encouraging the consumer then to recycle the aluminium beverage can in the correct place so it can actually become another beverage can or another aluminium item in the future.
While we're on the topic of recycling, it's vitally important, of course, with the rise in interest in sustainability at the moment. Do you have any sense of where recycling rates for aluminium beverage cans stand against other materials such as PET, and how important is it to encourage recycling? Well,
first of all, yes, it's extremely important to encourage recycling. If you don't recycle that particular product, whether it's a beverage can or anything else, then you're wasting a natural resource, which we must stop. Beverage cans are already a grade A performer in terms of sustainability. First of all, it's a permanent material, so it can be recycled again and again with no loss of quality. And second of all, consumers know that it's recyclable. There's no education really that's required. It's just about trying to push that recycling rate. The average recycling rate in Europe is around 71-72% for aluminium beverage cans, and the aluminium beverage can is the most recycled beverage container in the world.
And as we stand here at BrauBeviale, it's very early in the show, but what are you hoping for from this exhibition?
Well, this is a show where the whole industry comes together. And yes, we may be in Germany, but it's really a global show. It is one of the events where we can meet with, talk, discuss with consumers and particularly customers and fillers to understand their needs and requirements. And it's very much an evolving marketplace at the moment. The sustainability question is forefront in the agenda, but also innovation and differentiation and at the point of sale and point of consumption. So what I'm really hoping for is some very rich discussions that allow us to determine the future direction of the beverage can and Crown as a packaging company.
Okay, we wish you the very best of luck with that. Matt, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you.